The wine is a process. And for example, the vodka is a result. We are drinking the wine to talk, to share ideas, to talk about wine, about ourselves, to find out a lot of things about each other. And we were trying to keep it elegant, not empty, but light.
Sit back and grab a glass. It's Wine Talks with Paul K.
Hey, welcome to Wine Talks with Paul K. And we are in studio today. It's a beautiful Southern California, a little warm. About to have a conversation. I'm going to screw it up again. Vahagnn.
Vahagnn, yeah. I always joking like it's hard to remember than hard to forget.
Yes, Vahagn Voskanyan with, what's the name of it? Zara Winery?
Zara, yeah, we can name it like that. Yeah. Zara Muradyan Winery.
Zara Muradyan.
Yeah.
And you here from Armenia in Los Angeles. How long are you here for it?
You mean in the market or
No.
I personally myself?
No, in Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles last week, but before that I was in Boston, and before that I was in New York, attending James Suckling event in New York with our wines.
So this is pretty amazing, and I want to touch on that right now.
Okay.
This James Suckling gave this wine that we're looking at right now.
Yeah, not only this one, but this one got 93.
93
points out of 100. Yeah.
Has Suckling even reviewed Armenian wines before or given them scores like that?
Actually, I know what they do some, but we met their experts in Berlin like 2 years ago. And then they tested different Armenian wines, and our wine got 93. So then I followed the line. So, and you need to be in the to manage to have the right to use this in your marketing.
Yes.
And then I visited them in Korea, another James Suckling event. So I'm trying to keep this active.
In other words, you get around.
Yeah. That's the right word.
Yeah. They're stationed in Singapore, right? Isn't that where they're made?
Maybe, no, I'd rather we skip it.
Well,
because now I'm more concentrating on US market for now, and I guess there is a big potential here. So I see it from the reaction of people visiting the James Suckling event in New York. So we are the only Armenian winemakers there, and some people are coming just randomly, and some people they just look for us to come and to test. And also I have some small gathering of Armenians as well. As always, I invite a lot of people to come and to test not only our wines, but also wines of other good producers.
What is the largest market? I'm going to assume Armenia, indigenous. Armenia is the largest market for her wines, but after that, what is it? Is it Russia? Is it Georgia?
According to statistics, the largest market is Russia. But when you look at the prices, I guess U.S. is better market for Armenian wines. And with Russia, there are a lot of fluctuations, and the market is big. For example, our wine we are selling only in HoReCa sector, only into collections and restaurants, basically in Russia. I think Russia is a good market for those who are producing millions of bottles. And for us also, it's not bad because we're entering the high-end restaurants like White Rabbit family, for example. But then you need to have some presence. You need to visit those places when you are selling the wine. Because with the boutique winery, there's an association with the producer, which should be like strong and hard.
Yes.
And there should be an emotional attachment to that.
Of course. And so what is that emotional attachment? Where did she, this is your wife.
Yeah.
And she's the winemaker.
Yeah.
And you do everything else. So
yeah, I'm the only Armenian guy who is telling so much about his wife. And
we know how hard this is. And this is why I'm so compelled to ask these questions and understand more. But you weren't always in the wine business. Your wife wasn't always in the wine business because wine is relatively new to Armenia. What were you doing before?
Actually, Zara is in winemaking since her study in Agrarian University of Armenia. And how we met each other, actually, we applied to the same scholarship program to study in US.
Really?
Then she got scholarship to study in California State University, Fresno.
Wow.
Viticulture and Enology Center.
How great.
Yeah, still she has a lot of good contacts there.
Yeah.
And when she was back, she said, we need to change something in Armenian wine education. Because we have good kind of wine education in some last years of the Soviet period, but then we need to dramatically change a lot of things there. And imagine people are studying grape growing separately from the winemaking. So she started changing the internal program of winemaking in Agrarian University. Then she has an idea to open something new, and with some good people and partners, she managed to open Yerevan Wine Academy together with Kaisenheim University, which is in Germany.
Wow, that is quite an accomplishment. There's a lot of, the desire is one thing that's important, and the passion to do this. And wine has that feature about it. You get passionate about it and telling the story, but to continue and to provide education for other people. Yeah, I know the institute well. There's a lot of great graduates that come and creates a lot of interest for people.
Yeah, and also it's good to have double degree, and a lot of people continue studying in Kaisenheim and other universities because it's a kind of gateway for some students to go to other places to study. We have masters, PhDs from Armenia, and it supports a lot the development of Armenian winemaking, because people start knowing the European market. Their tests kind of can bring some technology to Armenia as a result, and also some good connections there. There are a lot of good people supporting like Armenian winemaking from different countries, including Germany, France, etc. And as you said, this is kind of continuous efforts. And I remember Zara was at that time like 3 years before before her PhD. Her PhD actually took 3 years.
Wow.
And she was going to the lab like 3 years continuously.
Wow.
And doing all this, different testings and different ways in order to produce Armenian vermouths. And she invented kind of 12 kind of Armenian vermouths and used a lot of like Armenian grape varieties, also different herbs, more than 100. So imagine how much effort you need to put on all these testings.
Vermouth is it's such a specialized part of our industry, and it's usually recipes handed down through the generations that create these things. Like I have Pio Cesare vermouth, and I've got, there's some local vermouths. So that's quite a task. But I think it sounds like to me what she's been doing, and with your support, behind every great woman is a great man. We know this, right?
Thank you.
I have to say that.
Yeah.
But it is talked about that the acceleration of the Armenian wine trade from freedom, which was, I went in 2007, I couldn't drink the wines. I mean, literally, but you had to tell the winemaker, this is great. And look what's happened in just 17 years. It has to be because of efforts of Zara and others in the industry, of course, but to get the attention of really the worldwide wine consumption. Now, that opens a whole lot of doors and problems for us in this industry. We know it's very hard to get traction. You have to do what you're doing today. You have to come to that place, meet the people, shake the hands, have the dinners, go to see James Suckling.
Come to interviews with you.
Yes, and have interviews with them. But it's an important part of what we do. And you said something very interesting. I want to kind of dwell on that. You said that the Russian market is good if you make millions of bottles. And that is a huge distinction in what we do. There's that group that does all that. In America as well, in France, Italy, doesn't matter. Wherever you go in the wine world, there is that group of people that make those wines that can sell them for $12, even less.
Yeah.
And then there's the boutique side. And she chose the boutique side because?
Because you can control the quality when you are a boutique size, usually. and then you can experiment. And also we are keeping the same label. We have only this label, different colors. We have this black for Armenian Reserve R&E, which we aged 12 months in Artsakhian oak. We have white one. We have Reserve wine, which we are aging in French oak. We have the red classic line, and we have rosé. And also the boutique winery is kind of our small family business, and we try to invest as much as we can from our other sources, because, when some people ask us about the quantity of our production, they say, and how you finance it?
Yeah.
Because usually if we calculate it's all the expenses on the different.
There's always
events,
money when it comes to this.
Yeah, but we couldn't even call it business sometimes, and some of the winemakers, because it's a way of life, it's a passion, and these are a lot of emotions in the bottle. And my belief is, but this is one of the ways when you can make your intangible emotions tangible products and share it with the world. And we are happy that some people can have our bottle on their table during their weddings, birthdays, or other celebrations. And we keep this as our family product. We are here we do it with my wife, with my daughter. But as Zara is now with the public things mostly.
Yeah, right.
That's why we are here. And she was at that time she was in China bringing the Mondial event to Armenia.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, next year.
It was in China, and it's coming
in May. Yeah, the event will happen.
I'm excited. I already made my hotel reservation.
Oh, really cool. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. So actually, as you say, people are selecting what they want to do, what their goals are. So our goal is to produce good quality wine and to use mostly the potential of Armenian grapes. Because why? I agree with you, like those years, it was really hard to find good wine. But what happens actually? Some people come with investments, and they bring some new equipment to Armenia, kind of new technology, new tests, new kind of bird view of the world market.
Yes.
And then the next step was to understand what is the potential of Armenian grape. And this is our jewel, actually, right? So we have this indigenous varieties. We are not using most of them, but we are using some already. And people are trying more and more varieties and trying to open the new kind of the scale and possibilities of Armenian grape. And we need to talk about that more and more, about Armenian terroir, about Armenian different wine producers.
It's interesting. I have a book at home. It's an old book. It's a very academic book. Mm-hmm. It's about the history of wine in Armenia. No one's ever seen this book. Every time I show it to people, I'll send you a picture of it. And it shows about 300 indigenous Armenian varieties, and some say there's more. Maybe
they say 500.
Yeah, there's 500. Okay, and that's really cool. And 17 years is not a lot of time. And I had Amy Kushgarian on when I was in Armenia last. I went to one of her vineyards, and she made this comment about, the Burgundians have 200 years minimum. Just to think about understanding what is going to happen to Arani in the districts that you grow it. And I think it was Michel Roland who told Juliana at Caras, yes, you can grow grapes here, but we won't know for 100 years. She's like, hey, wait a minute, 100 years. I'm 35 already. I don't have that much time. What that's going to produce. And so this passion, because it sounds like Zara has such passion to explore this thing, knowing that you're not going to get everything you want out of this in your lifetime. It's going to be your daughter's lifetime to develop it even further, because 17 years is not enough time. Even the next 20 years probably is not enough time.
But we shouldn't forget about this Soviet period of wine production in Armenia. We kind of shouldn't ignore it, because there are a lot of good winemakers, and we had a lot of good wines. And after this, I will show you the labels of the period starting from 95 even. 1905, at that year we had some wines, and then maybe we are well known about these dessert wines or aged wines, etc. But there are a lot of things done during the Soviet period, including some grape varieties which are kind of invented by Armenian grape growers, and there are a lot of medals we got there. So we shouldn't say what this is kind of destruction happened also.
Yeah, right.
But there is some experience in the middle, so we can find out a lot from there. And of course, there's not much people now which can be a connector. The Zara is one of them, because she worked with greatest grape growers, professors, and other people which worked before this kind of new renaissance of how we call it. And I guess that heritage also can help us to tell another story. Of course, we say what the culture of winemaking and culture of wine production is really kind of very intense during last 10 or 20 years. But before that, we also have a lot done. And I guess we can connect those things together and try to answer a lot of questions of those.
No, that
big kind of known persons.
You're the first person to say that to me.
Yeah,
we were stalled a little bit during the Soviet times. We were tasked to make brandy and other fortified wines, but there was some progress.
Sure.
There was some lessons to be learned.
We have medals. I'll show you. Of course, Armenian winemakers had opportunity to participate in limited events and competitions during the Soviet period. For example, the Yugoslavia, no Czech Republic, etc., etc. And we have a lot of medals, gold medals from those countries. And that's the thing we shouldn't forget as well.
You know, that's really interesting. I just thought of that when you said that. When I started with my dad in 1988, we featured an 85 or 7 or something Romanian wine, and it was still under Soviet rule, and it was really good. It was really inexpensive. It's called Premiat was the name of the wine. I remember selling it for $2.50 a bottle.
Yeah.
So you said something earlier, and I want to touch on it now. She's gone through this training. You're flying over the world. This is a lot of hard work. You're not making a ton of wine, but you make enough to squeak out, something. But you're seeing what effort it takes to do it. What was there a goal when you started? Like, yeah, honey, this is a good idea, I'm in, or she was just learning and thought maybe this would be fun, but then learned the passion of it. What really got the idea going where, okay, we're going to invest in grapes, crush them, and see what we can do with it?
So actually, of course, it was profession of my wife initially. And when she was going to the lab and work with her professor, Karen Narekovich Kazumyan, who is the only professor at that time of the winemaking. And his father also was alive. His father managed the champagne factory of Armenia. I don't know how to call it right. And it's a magical place for me. I just went there with my daughter Saturday, Sunday when we have some time. We're just running there.
That's great.
In order to see this environment, and a lot of things are happening inside. And this is, I don't know, I cannot tell even. For me, it's in my imagination still. And then he started giving me to test this wine, another wine. He teach me how to talk about the wine, to touch some of your mind's emotions, some past and future, and a lot of things there. So I see what this is the place when you can really express your emotions, like in art, for example, or in cuisine, or I don't know, in music, in poetry, etc. So this is something different, and I fell in love with this and start trying something. And honestly speaking, Zara is a kind of maximalist. I say, let's try something. She say, no, we don't have any conditions to do that, because we need to, if we start doing something, we need to do it perfect.
Right.
And I'm like, my profession now, I'm in impact investment, but previously I'm kind of an entrepreneur, and I love trying something. I'm entering the war and then start thinking what to do next.
Good. You don't have to have a plan. Just try
but
something.
With Zara, when I remember when we started, someone asked her to produce wine. And I said, okay, let's do our wine as well. And it was like in 2012. And then I see how she's writing all the details, how she's controlling the process, etc. All this is really complicated thing. And then when we decided to try something, to try those grape varieties which are not well known at that time, and a lot of people have vineyards like Charency, Tigrani, and those grapes which are kind of invented. I don't know the right word now.
Yeah, hybrids.
Mm-hmm. But it is the work. The huge work was done by Armenian scientists, and we tried to make wine from those varieties, also following the line of Karen Kazumyan, right, at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2018, we decided to go with autochthon varieties, Vahagn and Voskanyan, which we are currently doing. Maybe someday we'll come back to Tigrani, which is the hybrid of Vahagn and Saperavi, the best Caucasian varieties.
Georgian grape,
Georgian varieties.
Yeah.
And it names under the Tigran Petrosyan, who is the chess champion, world chess champion from Armenia. And imagine at that time, someone decided to make a grape and name it against the Tigran Petrosyan. So it means that there are a lot of potential, and people are really eager to do something new at that time. And we had science, we had practice, etc. And then starting from 2018, we decided to make our own wine. We call it elegant wine with a woman's touch. And Zara is the first woman who is a specialist and also produce her own wine line. With our support.
You know that, and you don't know this part. Being here, and every Tuesday, including when my dad worked at the wine shop, was tasting day. And we just start tasting at 9 and we finish at 2. That was just for 35 years. Nothing ever changed that unless I was sick, period. And that's the only way we were able to taste enough wines to tell our members and our customers that this is the best we found for the price. And the reason I brought that up was there were many hybrids that came through our doors that were touted as the next great thing.
Yeah.
And they all went flat. However, did you know that Cabernet Sauvignon is a hybrid between Cabernet Franc and Sauvignon Blanc?
Yeah.
It's an old one, but it's a hybrid. So, it's exciting. And the reason I brought that up was we were just in Napa, and I just had a podcast with Violet Grgic. And Violet Grgic, her father was Mike Grgic. He came from Croatia in 1960-something or 70-something, and with nothing. $32 in his shoe, and he became one of the most iconic, most famous worldwide winemakers, period, because he made a Chardonnay in 1973 that beat the French Burgundies in their own wine tasting. This is a very famous event. Okay, I bring that up because that's where you folks are at. That's where Zara and Vahagnn.
Yeah. Vahagnn.
That's where you're at. This is pioneering stuff, making history you don't even know you're doing, because you're just at the forefront, the beginning of what Vahagn can do. Who knows what Vahagn can do?
Yeah.
Who knows what these blends can do? Who knows whether it's Artsakh oak or no oak, or it needs better hang time, or it needs different trellising. Who knows yet the elegance of this grape? It's a very interesting grape because people always ask, well, what does it taste like? Does it taste like Pinot Noir? I'm like, you can't say that.
No.
It tastes like itself.
It tastes like Vahagn, yeah.
It's
maybe
what it
because
is.
It's like medium body, you can maybe sometimes compare with Pinot Noir. But when we had a lot of talks with the master of wines, and of course they say, you are in the process of investigating and knowing Vahagn well.
Yes.
Our advisors like to come together sometimes, all the producers, and see what you get, test different Vahagn's, etc. And also, I agree with you that we can use some scientific approach here, right? So we already have like, I don't know, 10, 12, 20 years old R&E, and we can see what's happening in the bottle. We can test 1 year under the other to see what's happening in the bottle, etc. So then we can project what kind of potential R&E has. But definitely it has good potential. And those people which used to test a lot of R&Es and work with different kind of grapes, they all also have the same feeling. The other thing is with the style, we're still in the process to see what we can get out of it. And we are, time by time, we are doing some experiments and partnership with different winemakers from different countries in order to see what is their point of view. And with my experience, actually, they say, well, this is really interesting, and you still can make some original things out of it. And we had one partnership with a winemaker from Burgundy, for example. We're trying to use this cold maceration technique, and we're picking up all like hands with hands, and we are using some of wall benches here, and we are doing minimum intervention. And for that particular project, we found a 1,035 plus years old winery in Aravnadzor, and we are in the process of maturing, we're aging this wine in used French barrels, for example, 3 years old. Not to have very like oaky things inside. Although I know at the American market, they are looking for more like full body and a bit aged things, but it's changing.
Let's talk about that for a second. It's very important because I have my personal opinions already, and I'm new to the brand. I'm new to the grape, but I think certainly it has potential. I think it's got finesse, it's got elegance. I've tasted some very well-made, complex, thought-provoking Armenian wines. And certainly you have to deal with the idea of, well, for us as wine people, wow, this is really cool. Are really expressing, but are we going to sell any? Because the marketplace. And so I went to a what they call a raw tasting not too long ago. It was sometime this year. And Raw is a group out of a French master of wine, Isabel, and she takes this group around. I don't know if she was around the world, but at least the country, and they're all low intervention wines, not necessarily organic. I mean, biodynamic, but low. And I went to the Georgia section. It was in LA. And there were these two radically different, same grapes, but radically different approaches. One was clearly the old school amphora below the ground, that dusty old character. And the other was this bright stainless steel, fruit forward wine. Same grapes, same country. And so are we wrestling with that right now? Are we in your camp, are we looking for what the market is trying to tell us what to do? Or are we just trying to produce the best wine, the best expression of where our grapes are from and who we are as a couple?
I agree with you, and being a boutique winery, you have that privilege to do that because you can experiment, and the quantity is not so big, but you're afraid what the market will not absorb it. So it's better to have those 10,000, 5,000 people drinking the wine you want to produce and got those niche there. And that's why we're always saying when we start producing this style of wine in Armenia, some people say that's kind of, it's not the right translation, but it's kind of watery wine, it's not so,
thin down,
so heavy. But we can drink 1, 2, 3 bottles. And for me, the wine is a process. And for example, the vodka is a result. When you are drinking the wine to talk, to share ideas, to talk about wine, about ourselves, to find out a lot of things about each other. And we're trying to keep it elegant, not empty, but light.
Yes.
And this is the style of Zara, and we don't want to. Sometimes with some wines are over oaked, and there you're losing the characteristics of the grape and the wine. So we're trying to keep the balance here.
I think that's a really good position, and I think wine is that. Wine, like the question I always ask is, what's the end game? We're gonna fix the trellising. We're gonna handle the hang time longer. We're going to use phenolic ripeness. We're going to, and all these things that the decisions that go into picking a wine. There's some end game, and the end game generally is, and it sounds like here, is to produce the most expressive wine that I can. And it seems that I don't personally think that, at least what I've tasted, that Arani really likes oak that much. Now this neutral oak you did, different, right? That gives it a little softness, cuts the tannins a little bit. But when you throw aggressive oak, for me so far, at Arani, it throws it out of balance. And Sireni seems to handle it.
Yeah.
But Arani doesn't seem
body
to handle it, right? This can be a very elegant wine, and I'm sure it is if Suckling gave it a 93. But you said something at the very beginning that I think is the most important part of what you're trying to do. And I'll only tell you this through a story from a tasting from 2 weeks ago of Bordeaux that I tasted. It was a Mouton Rothschild tasting. Yeah, we get to go to those things once in a while. But it wasn't a red wine. It was actually a Barsac. It was a white dessert wine. And after all these years and all these wines and all the places that we've been to, I put my nose in this glass of Barsac, and I was stunned. I was completely taken. And I put it down, and if anybody had looked at my face, they would have thought that I was getting sick, because I couldn't understand the wine. There was so much emotion that came out of this glass. And you said it just now. It's for you to get together with your friends, your family, talk, emote, share stories. And that is, I think, a huge, wonderful objective, to produce a wine that does exactly that. And it has to come from your conversations with your wife, from what she's learned, and the passion to produce something that expresses what it is.
And we love to hear, the opinion of others, because we have a lot to learn. Because this is the thing, when you say, I know everything, you're done. I mean, and with the wine, nobody can say that. Imagine, for example, what I feel. I have some small quantity of brandy produced, just for myself. I can say, well, this is a good brandy, you should drink it, etc. But it comes to wine, I have never say our wine is good, test this wine, etc. You cannot allow you to say that, because you have you tested a lot of like great wines. And when you talk about your like situation when you drank the wine, like 5 days ago, I was in the same situation looking at Van Gogh's painting in Getty Museum.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, everything was disappeared.
Wow.
And I see only these irises, and it was a moment,
Wow.
when you are taken with all your emotions, all your brain, everything. You are in this piece of art. You are moving around everything. You are trying to investigate, and you feel that you are not able to absorb all the things there. And as you say, wine.
That's amazing.
Yeah, wine is a way we can express our emotions, and there are a lot of things to go further. I mean, what you have the potential of grape and the terroir, and you have the winemakers trying to get more of it, and it takes like a lot of years, and it goes up. Sometimes you can absorb a lot, then the next year it's not the way you want, and then I call it Carmen business, the Carmen.
Yes.
Spanish, and it absorb, and it get all your emotions, all your minds, all your resources, and then one day she can say, I don't want to perform at all. And then one day it comes back and say, no, I'm now reviving. So, and then you understand that you are not the one controlling all the things here.
That's right.
So there's nature, they're like the god of winemaking. Right. I don't know how to call it. And then you should play with it, and you cannot control it. You should be a part of it. You should feel like natural in this process. Otherwise, if you push too much, especially from the business side, this Carmen business can say, I'm done. I mean, and So this is very,
very
very
profound.
tiny things, to bring together, and you should be in love with this. And
that's very profound because I had a woman on, her name is Gisela. She's a PhD in theology. She's got 2 masters in theology, and she's traveling the world, literally professing wine is a gift from God, and that's why we can't define all the things we're trying to define. Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, there's no other beverage in the world that you can do what would just happen to me and happen to you with a painting. It doesn't happen with bourbon, arach, right?
Yeah.
You drink that for a reason. You want to get drunk as fast as you can. But wine has that emotional connection to the human soul. It can't be defined, but your family has decided to make a life of it.
Yeah.
And you don't make a life of other beverages. You don't make a life of soda. You don't make a life of White Claw. You don't make a life of Gatorade. And I brought this up the other day with the Violet Gergich. I said, and I've had this conversation with Victoria Aslanian as well. Like, are people coming to Armenia and investing in the wine trade because they think A, it's worth a lot of money, which we know that's not true, or B, we want to chase the lifestyle, and we're going to get into that definition in a second, but the lifestyle of what they think wine living is, being part of a winery and owner, and how romantic it is. What do you think? And according to her, Victoria at the time, there doesn't seem like a lot of room. There's not a lot of more room for more brands and more people to produce brands. And like Mariam Sagatalian and her store in Vino is like full of wines now. But what do you think the motivation is for most people?
It's a way of express yourself, and there is a possibility to do it in Armenia because there are no much obstacles to do it. There is no you shouldn't pay millions of dollars in order to obtain a license, and the grape is available, so there is no much problems to start to do something. At least you can order your own label, and someone can produce it, and you can just
you can do that anyway.
Start with the label, with the idea, with the story, if you have the story to tell. And I don't know, sometimes it's a bit trendy. People want to be in the business. They calculate if they spend $10,000 and have a label, why not to start it? But then if you are doing just it's for fun and do not expect financial return, it's okay. But when people spend a lot of money in hard thing, then the problem started. Because it's like when you are starting a restaurant, you don't know what is your menu, what kind of test you want to provide to your customer, how you are different, and with whom you are compete, and what you want to achieve.
Right.
Because doing the hard is the easiest thing to do. I bring the example from my education. I graduated University of Oxford Department, Side Business School.
Oxford?
Oxford. Major,
English.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And my major, I was the first Armenian learning how to manage mega projects, like super big, more than $1 billion projects, etc. And the subject I love called system engineering. And what is system engineering? It's about hard and soft. It is started in MIT because there is an order from the military kind of department, etc. If we skip that part, so in any business, in the life, there is hard and soft. So if we talk about example of wine business, hard is equipment, factory, vineyards, even everything you can order, you can invest, you can import, etc. Right? So it's easy to do. The hardest thing is soft. And there's a lot of soft.
The hard is soft.
Yeah, the hard is soft, soft is hard. Yeah, that's a good thing. I should remember that. Less is more, more is less, right? So here, you need to manage a lot of intangible things. You need to manage people, first of all. You need to have the winemaker if you are not the winemaker. So in our case, it was obvious. We have a winemaker in our family, so that's why we started, right? So for me, it was the main reason to bring together our efforts. You need to understand the style of your wine, the way you are producing it, who is going to work on your winery, in your vineyards, what kind of environment you want to create, what is the terroir, because terroir is hard thing, but how you work with the terroir. You can spoil, you can put a lot of bad fertilizers there, you can do natural wine. How you work with the terroir, this is important thing. Who is going to work, what kind of style, exactly how you are going to manage all those diseases, or how we are going to manage all these environmental changes. The climate change as well is affecting the wine regions of Armenia. The harvest is starting early. I don't know, something is happening. It's like raining, etc. How to make the decision at that point? You need to do the harvest. So the soft thing is the hardest thing, right? So, and then the soft thing is the thing which is interesting to your customer. Starting with your story. I previously again talked about that, but for me the testing is starting not from the eye, nose, and mouth, but from the brain, from the story, right, from what you are talking about, and the customer. He or she, they are not interested in what kind of equipment you have, what kind of, I don't know, how much you spend on establishing your winery, etc. Right? Even there, a lot of producers they are doing it. They started in a small garage. I saw that, but they're the top producers now, right? Because they have the idea, they have the soft part, they hired the best like grape growers, winemakers, etc., etc. So this is the thing people should concentrate and decide before entering the field. And if not Zara, I will not do a step here. Yeah. Because otherwise I will depend on some winemakers, grape growers, etc. And here is the thing: when you start something in the wine incubator, then the time comes when you need to decide how to go out of it and have the same quality. So this is the challenge.
That's a brilliant way of putting it. I've not thought of the hard versus the soft. It makes a ton of sense in those pieces, because that creates, the soft is the story. It's very interesting you said that, because, if you go to Napa Valley, like we were just up there. We got back yesterday. And I want to, how many winery tours can I go on? But I wanted to see this one facility because it's a members-only winery. They make only 1,200 cases. But you pay a lot of money because you have access to the property and the venue and everything. And I'm sure that, that people come up and they go, oh, what kind of, optical sorter do you have? And what's your bricks? And that's really, it's the part of the wine trade that I think intimidates people anyway when you start talking about those things. Okay. Because really it should be what you like. And if you want to learn about the differences and you smell this and I don't smell that, that's okay, that's fine. But what you have to know when you're drinking a glass of wine, good, honest wine, I call it, that's made properly to express something, is that story. It is about the story. Yeah. And the story is not, and I think my listeners are tired of me saying this, but the story is not, I got this for $5 on the internet. That's not a story. Yeah. But the story of the struggle of Armenian wine and the history of Armenian wine and the 6,000-year-old winery in Adani and Noah landing the ark on Mount Ararat, all of that is part of the story. And so this thought process I've had, and you've already done a great job of articulating it, is, but this is your story. This is your family story right here. And there's a lot of history already, and it's just started just to get where you're at. And my thought process on this is, that is part of the terroir. Like, and I express it this way: you could take the same grapes from the same vineyard and give it to two different winemakers to get two different wines, completely, right? Because of the story. What did you learn along the way? What did Zara do along the way? What mistakes did she make? What's her thought process? What did she make wine in Argentina to have an influence, or has she only used this vineyard and understands it very well? These are all really important things to tell the story.
And the other thing is happening. I just think about that when you are talking. Something internally in our family is also happening. something become more mature, some decisions. It takes time because she's like one of the public persons I know. I can calculate them. She think public, and she's far away from the business. And that's what I love at the end, because initially I was trying to bring her to our family business mostly, but then I understand what she can do much more globally for the wine business, wine industry of Armenia. And then you become a small producer, even if she's from your family. So this is an interesting thing happening inside of our family, inside of her career, Mark's career. Now our daughter is start helping us. So this is a new flavor, because I come here with my daughter and just absorb how she's telling the different American or other customers about our wine. And sometimes her friends are coming to help us doing some wine events. So this is, as you said, this is a different thing, because every family is different. And by the way, every tolma made by your and my mother is different.
Mine Tepsi.
Ingredients are the same,
That's a good
right?
Point,
but because the way they are making it, the emotions they are putting it, a lot of things are different. And then you feel it from the test, which is for me is a magic, right?
Yes.
To test the emotion.
I'm so impressed. We're already out of time, if you can believe. It's been 45 minutes. But I'm so impressed with the maturity of your family's approach already, because one of the conversations I had in Napa this week was, there's not animosity, but there's certainly an opinion of the people that made millions and billions of dollars in Los Angeles as contractors or surgeons or wherever. It doesn't matter about LA. And then they decide they want the lifestyle of wine, and they go up to Napa and they hire the best winemaker and buy the biggest piece of land, and they build this anonymous gigantic chateau. And all of a sudden it's not as romantic as they thought it was, because selling a $160 bottle of wine, which is the minimum price these days, isn't that easy. And instead, and this is the idea I got from Violet Gergich was, no, it's the life of wine. Because it's not a lifestyle, it's a life.
Yeah.
You live it.
Live it.
You're living it already.
And, I always imagine the people at the background. So a lot of people are helping us, winemakers, grape growers. We are buying from one family. A lot of people are making Armenian wines you have never known about them. You even can meet 10, 12, 20 different winemakers. Those who are at the front line, who are the investors, who are the owners of the brand. But I know the people who are doing the job, and those people are the real faces.
That's right.
But they are not frontline people. Right. They want to grow their grapes. They want to do the winemaking process with a lot of stuff is going on, and they love the process. And you are trying to be near them, and try to kind of see those people in the wine as well.
Sure.
Because
those
people who are invested, who are loving to show up, usually the winemakers, they want to do their stuff in their own environment. So they're different environment, which is about production and all the process, about the nature, the grape, the soil, the terroir, the harvest period. So a lot of works is there, etc. And then sometimes I saw even myself, some people, when they try to interact the process of the winemaker, the production process, want to over control. Then the nightmare started with both of them. So or you are doing the whole process,
yes,
or you should trust those people who are helping you.
Yeah.
Of course, in our case, Zara is when she's the one who decided, she's testing, she's doing the thing. But or you should be if you are good sommelier, or you have the education, and then you decided to start the production process, you find some partner, because you need the partner starting from the grape growing, winemaking, etc. Or you are doing all the things. But for me, those are different businesses.
Oh, for sure.
And it's really hard to know everything about grape growing, everything about winemaking, everything about the wine sales. these are all people should kind of. It's not.
I'll leave you with I'll leave you with a fun
link. All these things is not easy.
No,
but you should know your own microcosm. In the world, this galaxy, and
that's
enjoy
right. the galaxy of wine.
Yeah,
I'll leave you with this cute story, and I just got a text from her this morning. But it's interesting how this industry and how this product can draw you in a very short order of time. Like, I sold wine for a long time before I really wow, there's something very special about what I'm doing for my customers. But I had a young intern here, Armenian girl, and her job was to write the talking points, research the guests, particularly the female winemaking guests. And she worked here for a summer. And then her parents planted a little vineyard in their neighborhood, and they made wine from it. Well, she is now interning in a chateau in Bordeaux. She's there right now. And she's so cute because she's 19. And she said, and this is going back to what you're saying, she goes, Uncle Paul, they're going to put me in the vineyard, and I don't really want to work in the vineyard. I go, well, you're going to France in Bordeaux in a very well-known chateau. You're going to do what they tell you to do, right? Well, she texted me not too long. She goes, I'm really enjoying working in the vineyard.
Oh, really?
And I go, see, you have to keep
carrying boxes,
yes.
All the stuff,
right, all
this,
the rest
heavy stuff to do, and actually, you need to prepare yourself for that.
Yes.
And there's a period when you say, I'm not against people to entering the field because we are looking for new talents.
Yes.
And those talents can come from different domains, right? So it's not a kind of closed, of course, kind of a closed society, but you need to be open for new talents to come in. And it takes in average 10 years. If you are surviving during these 10 years differently, everyone is using his or her own competitive advantage, forces, networks. And it's you need to be ready. And it takes time, and the wine industry checking you if you are ready to survive and to go.
That's a good question.
Survive.
If it's being nice to you.
Yeah, it is being nice to you, because it's not only about investing; it's again about dealing with people, dealing with nature. Be ready for challenges. Understand what is Not everything depends on you. You should rely on God, on nature, on other people around you. So it's about selection process of those who should stay in the winemaking. So it's people are happy if they're kids wants to continue, because in their genes there are some in their blood there's some still wine from their grandfathers. But now the thing we need to connect those dots. Starting from, if we start from 6,100 years old winery, industrial production, when the connecting thing is terroir and grape. When even if something disappears in the middle, you can start connect the dots.
Of course.
And this is the very, very important thing here.
I think that's important.
And also with our leaf. There is a story with our leaf. So Zara initiated publishing a book about Armenian winemaking and grape growing. Let me know when you are in Armenia. I'll try to find one for you.
We're coming.
Yeah. So then I see this leaf in this book, because she brought together the winemakers, architects, grape growers, a lot of different scientists, etc., to have some comprehensive book about the winemaking. And I found this leaf, and it has 4 million years of history. It's a fossil.
Wow.
Imprinted in the stone, in Armenia. So it means at that time we had grape, right? So then we put Zara's name, as this is a signature wine of Zara with her technology. And we got this line of production and this wine.
Just sitting here, if I'm listening to this podcast, to the listeners, you have to want to taste what's in this wine. Just hearing the story, it's compelling to know, wow, there's so much thought and so much effort and so much education and so much camaraderie just to put that wine in the bottle. And I think that's what's so special about it. We will see each other again. You're leaving on the 3rd.
Yeah, on the 3rd.
And you have a full week. The rest of the week is your
So
daughter's here. You
3-4
said.
days, yeah.
Why you should have brought her? I can put it on my.
Yeah, I asked her to come, but she's now going to some fancy place.
These kids these days, yeah.
Yeah, because she's invited to a place before that.
Well, my
otherwise
plan
she's
is
enjoying being in such conversations. And our I agree with you. There are a lot of stories behind it, and every wine is a story. Ours is a life story and love story.
I love it.
Because first I fell in love with Zara when I fell in love with winemaking.
That's really cute.
Yeah, now I'm very happy because I'm here with my daughter, and I'm just looking like from the side, but and I enjoy the process being with her in US, where the first time we're alone without Zara, traveling so long time. Yeah, we miss each other a lot, but it's very interesting wow moment when you see your kid is also like telling the same story and being a part of the story. And
maybe and it sounds like this is going to happen, she'll be in a position that I am, or I was until my dad passed away 2 years ago, but there isn't a day that goes by that I don't thank him for putting me in that picture right there, because that's when it all started, when he was selling wine in a wine shop, and I was the only of the three kids that participated in that part of the business. And so he dragged me up to Napa in 1974. We went to a station wagon. It was hot, and we went to all the wineries, and I met all these people, and the stories I get to tell about him and who he knew and what he did is what drives me to hear your story and to hear the stories of other people that do this, because it's all about the story. It's been such a pleasure having you here, and I know we're going to do it again because we have more to talk about.
Okay.
And
we are missing my family members
and
here.
We'll do it there because the last time 2 times ago I was in Armenia, I got the CivilNet studio, and I had 3 winemakers come through, and we just sat in the studio and we did 3 podcasts. And then the last time, I'm going to send you what I shot. We were there for 3 days. I went out on the road and shot, and I want to do that with your winery, with Zara and your family, and walk the vineyards, and I'll show you what we did. It came out great. But I want to tell the stories, and I have 3 or 4 subjects about Armenian trade, the wine trade, that I want to peel back with you and your wife and your daughter and other people in the trade. But thanks for being in the show.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It was really pleasure for me being here. Yeah, and a lot of thoughts came during the conversation. Yes. It's like when you're watching a good movie, your minds are somewhere else.
Yeah,
and
right.
Trying to think about some
stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
cheers.
Cheers.